just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 150. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benezowitz. The New York Knicks have lost 3 straight games. They fall on Christmas Day to my favorite team, the Philadelphia 76ers. And the Brooklyn Nets, red hot, 9 straight wins. Oh, but they can't do it against teams that are good. Oh, they're doing it against teams that are injured. They beat the crap out of the Bucks. They go into Cleveland. The Cavs 16-3 at home. The Nets beat the Cavs, and the Nets now on a 9-game winning streak. They've moved to the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. You know, Knicks win 8 in a row, lose 3 in a row, and Jets lose, seasons coming to a usual Jets end, and, not so great in sports. Well, Correa deal is not done yet. I mean, things could be better in sports, man. Life is great, but sports-wise, I don't know,
Ebbs and flow, bro. And that's why with the Nets, from my stance, considering where this season started, Alex, where they were, Nash fired, 2-6, Kyrie Irving drama. The fact that this team now has righted the ship, has improved to 22-12, has won 9 straight games. I'll ask you each episode this one question. I'll be curious each time to get your answer, which I'll do later in the show as a tease. But now, all the national shows are doing the thing like, is it the Nets? Is it the Bucks? They're back there from that perspective. And from a guy that's watched every single game for the last how many years, this team is functioning defensively at a different rate. They're playing different basketball. They care for each other. And as anybody that's watched the Nets earlier in the season to now, it's a completely different basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, what a difference players who want to play for a coach makes.
Totally.
And that's just really the gist of it. Also, the Kyrie stuff has died down. It's just they're under the radar right now, and I think for a lot of reasons. One, I think everybody just got tired of talking about the Nets from the Kyrie stuff, and number 2 is that the Nets have done this before. They've gone on these it's not early season anymore. It's kind of almost to the middle of the season, but like these mid to early season runs where they get really, really good, and then everybody's like, all right, whatever. This is what, a year 4 now. It's like all right, come on, let's just fast forward to the playoffs and then we'll see what the Nets do. I just feel like a lot of people are like that. And like, yeah, show me, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is, though, like I'm thrilled to be having that conversation because beginning of the year was, do they blow it up? Is this team functioning and capable? Now you're saying, no, now you sound like me as a Net fan a couple of years ago that was like, let me just get to the playoffs. I know this team is good. I want to see what can happen. But they're doing what I was hoping for. They're taking the regular season seriously. They're taking the defensive end seriously. Shout out to Jacques Vaughn, who did one of the coolest things I've ever heard from a coach. But this team could not rebound the basketball. He found their box out stats about how bad they are boxing out, showed it to them. The team responded. And, a little gimmicky, sure, but this team has played great. They've played all around basketball. Kyrie Irving has been sensational since he's been back. And for my money's worth, this is the best I've ever seen them play in the Kevin Durant era. And it stems from the defense, and it stems from them trying and caring. Like when they were on those runs with Harden, they were beating the shit out of teams 131-108, 127. They're playing defense, Alex. They're rotating, they're switching. I watch other teams now and I go, they don't play defense like I see the Nets play D. They hit clutch shots. Ben Simmons distributes and pushes the ball. And, the guy that they dealt him for, James Harden, who I know had a big game versus the Knicks, I watch how he plays and the tempo and pace he plays at. And I'm like, I'm thankful for that trade. The way Simmons plays D, it's refreshing to see. And I know for you, and for Net, I don't say it's understandable, but the question will be, drama will hit this team at some point. But at this moment now, I'm glad that all the people that want to say the Nets aren't good, that's all they can come up with, and I'm thrilled about it.
Well, they don't bury the lead. They almost blew this game. They were up by like 16 or something.
They're up by 19.
They were up by what? Like when around 9 minutes left, they were up by like around 15 with like 9 minutes left, something like that. And then they couldn't defend Garland. I mean, they couldn't defend. Garland was crushing them. It was the whole offense.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll take the optimistic side in things. This is the NBA. You're going in Cleveland at 16-3 on the road. They don't have Joe Harris. They don't have Seth Curry. Durant fouls out with 2 minutes left in the game, and Irving carries him to win. Like, I get they almost blew it, but as anybody sees it, watches these games and understands it, this is the NBA, and you're going up against a top-tier team with top-tier players, and yeah, they almost blew it. Yeah, they ran out of gas, but they didn't. They didn't blow it. It almost means bullshit.
They held on.
They held on, and they won. And I don't really, if I come on here and they lost the game and they were bad down the stretch, they weren't. Garland got down to the basket. I think it was him in that final stretch, and Nick Claxton made a hell of a block, and they got
the jump ball on Donovan Mitchell.
You're right. You're right. They almost blew it, but again, this is the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. That's an elite team in the East that the Nets are playing up against. It's been a sensational year. Yeah, I hear your point on that, but they didn't blow it. They won the game, and I
know.
So I don't.
You were just
whatever.
Yeah, you had to slow you down a little bit. You were getting a little too hot, oh, they're winning. They literally could have lost this game in a game that they should have blown them out, and there shouldn't have been a game at the end.
This is a game they would have lost in the past with this unit. This is a game they would have lost in the past. This is this is something that would have this is how the Knicks lose to the Sixers and blow the lead. The Nets didn't do it, and on Christmas Day, the Knicks come out firing. Julius Randle with 25 in the first half. RJ Barrett goes 6 for 102 from the field. And the Knicks,
game after he dropped 44. So don't forget that. He just dropped 44.
I know, but now I got to bring the Barrett love down. And here are the Sixers are on a 8-game winning streak, the second hottest team in the East. But the Knicks, after going 18-13, they had an opportunity on their home court. They haven't been able to do it, and they've dropped 3 straight.
Yeah. And tomorrow or today, whenever you're listening to this, they're going to play the Mavericks, and that's going to be a big game, another national TV game. I want those so much more. And it just was like they should have beat the Sixers on Sunday, and now they're on a 3-game losing streak after going on the 8-game winning streak. And we didn't really touch on it because we had Meta World Peace on the last episode, so we didn't really touch on the specifics of the day-to-day of the Knicks and the Nets at that point. Both teams were streaking, and it was great, but it was just like they weren't that good and they're not that bad. So they're like what we thought they were, like the Dennis Green thing, rest in peace. So they are what we thought they are. They're a 500 team. And it's tough because there's some good things with Tibbs because, and Cooney's, you mentioned him again, one of our great listeners. He mentioned to me that I said this on 2 episodes ago. I don't remember. That the Knicks finally I didn't remember at the time. The Knicks finally have roles for their players when they shorten the rotation to a 9-man rotation. They have roles like they did 2 years ago with the 4-seed team where Bullock was here, and Elfrid Payton did this, and this guy did this, and everybody did this, and it all revolved around Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, and that was it. Now, when they shorten the rotation, everybody has their roles, and everything was rolling. But reality is hit, and the fourth quarter yips come up, and Julius Randle just has his moments in the fourth, and he's missing free throws. RJ Barrett goes on his cold streaks. Jalen Brunson is falling apart from Tibbs, and now he's injured. We don't know how long. He's questionable for the Mavericks game, but we'll see. And it's just like, they were so close to just turning that corner, and now it's like we're getting back to reality. I didn't allow myself to get too high, but it's fun to watch the Knicks win, especially just win these fucking Christmas games, man. That's what's just so annoying, man. Anyway,
yeah. Well,
I'm looking forward to the Mavs.
People had asked me like, who were you rooting for, the Nets or the Sixers? And I was rooting for the Sixers. Maybe rationally that was the wrong decision, but I'm irrational about it. The good part about it was, okay,
it's December, the playoff seeding right now. Like,
I get you.
Root for who you hate more.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, the Sixers are playing great basketball. I mean, they're winning games. They don't have their second best player in Tyrese Maxey right now. Yeah, I said it. And they're playing winning basketball, and it just feels inevitable for me that there's going to be a net Sixers or net Knicks. Who's
going to be on that team? Because our friend, the show, Ian Begley, reported for SNY that the Knicks have been interested in Tobias Harris, and before that winning streak, they were looking to go and trade for him, which would have been weird. I don't know, but that's the rumor out there right now.
Who would the Sixers want?
I don't know. Julius Randle wouldn't make sense. So would they take Derrick Rose and Fournier? Like that would be strange. You know what I mean? Like so. Yeah.
Odd. Well,
that's a big contract, man. So
you always said the Nets should have been better off if they had D'Angelo Russell and Tobias Harris.
I mean, what have they won since then? So I don't know.
Well, I'll still take my chance. I'll still take my chances with the odds.
We'll see. Now that you're on a high streak, now you'll be happy. You're happy and you'll take your chances. But a month ago, maybe you wouldn't have said that.
Tobias Harris is cooked. He's fine, but he's that contract.
Long Island's finest, man. Long Island's finest.
There's Nick rumors. I mean, that's a problem.
That's a Nick rumor, and that's a real rumor because that's not just from Joe Schmo on Twitter. That's Ian Begley saying it. So it's out there. Right. We all mocked him when he said that the Knicks were looking to trade RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell. Like, no way, and legitimately were. So got to respect that. And man, I don't know. It's just crazy because if Jalen Brunson goes down, this is my Knicks poll question. I could just do it now and get out of the way. But
do it.
He not get out of the way. It's a very important part of the show.
Got
a lot of votes. There's still 12 hours left.
I've installed the program director in you where you said that and then you thought about it and you were like, well, let me rephrase that. I've rubbed off.
Don't dismiss the segment. Don't downplay the segment.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm getting too nitty gritty for us, but go ahead.
Okay, so at Knicks Central, once a week I do a poll question. I'll read some shout outs, some comments and responses on the podcast. Knicks fans, if Jalen Brunson is seriously injured and needs to miss time, who do you hand the keys to at point guard? Comment why you made your selection. Emmanuel Quickley, Deuce McBride, Derrick Rose, or other. What do you think won?
Quickly.
By far. 61.8% Quickley, 17.5% McBride, 18.7% D Rose, and 2% having fun saying other, which I don't even know who other would be. And I think there's just a lot of Derrick Rose fans out there that are just like player fans of
legendary
him,
player
MVP.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Hall of Famer. So understandable, but it's got to be Quickley, man. It's time. If Brunson's out, just let him run the point. Let's see. You know what I mean? Let's see. I know Jalen Brunson is here for a long period of time, but if Quickley is your legitimate point guard off the bench and you could pay him for that and be your sixth man, that's a good guy to have. And I'm just so tired of the Derrick Roses in the world.
This will be an interesting stretch for the Knicks because the Mavericks, tough game. Then they played two bad teams on the road, but still never easy when you do this is the Texas 3 trip or whatever they call it with the Mavs, Spurs, Rockets. Be curious to see how the Knicks respond here because they were getting wins versus these teams a week to 2 weeks ago where they were beating the teams that were 15 and 18, 16 and whatever it was.
The Bulls.
They were getting those wins and the Bulls are, those was a terrible Bulls loss that they had the other day, but they got the 2 wins in Chicago. Will be interesting to see if the Knicks come back and respond here on the road after failing at Madison Square Garden. I'll be curious to see, what they can do. And, do they fall back into the vortex of 500 or do they push up and, play around for that six seed?
True.
Or do they fall back into the abyss of 7 to 10, in that mix? Because I think it's pretty clear that the 5 teams ahead of them are going to be the 5 teams. In the Nets, Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs. Those are the 5. Maybe Miami makes a play at it because they haven't done anything quite yet. Do the Knicks fall back? And we'll see. I think this next couple of games, because it's weaker opponents, is a big deal.
Yeah. The Heat will make a run. I can't see them just falling into the abyss also. So a couple shout outs real quick. So we have KJF. He's at Kwame_F. Deuce, because the team needs IQ's offense with the second unit, and Deuce improves the first unit defense and doesn't need to score with RJ, Grimes, and Randall out there. That's a very good point. Deuce is very defensive, and the whole season turned around when Deuce got inserted into the lineup and they benched Derrick Rose. Now we have Allen. He's at Sick the Yipa, YIPA. Quickly should be given the opportunity to be able to earn his next contract. That's a good point. Then we have Chetta Taylor. He's at Chetta Taylor. I've never seen Quick create offense or set up the offense for anything other than a lob. He's a horrendous point guard and should be a JJ Redick, Reggie Bullock role. Stop overhyping this kid. He's not a point guard at all. Jeez. I never overhyped him. No, I'm kidding. It's a good point. He's not a point guard yet, but also Tibbs started Alec Burks at point guard for half the season last year. So why can't they start quickly for a couple of games if Brunson's out for a little bit? Just see what happens.
It's a fair point.
We have two more. Knicks fan 180 at Kev Ray 180. Deuce, IQ is cool, but he takes too many heat check threes before he's actually hot yet. And then the last one, the Knicks recap. He's at the Knicks recap. It's a great podcast. Spaces. IQ provides scoring and very good defense from the guard spot. Pair that with Grimes, could be a great defensive backcourt. Realistically, I see Rose taking that spot if Brunson is forced to miss time. Gives you a veteran guard who knows the team and keeps your bench intact. Rose, to be honest, is probably going to be the guy. And that's a good point that the Knicks recap makes. You know, it's just
right.
He's the veteran guy. You should throw him in there as a real point. You keep McBride and quickly in their roles, and you just kind of swap Rose for what's his name? Brunson. What do you think?
I think Rose gets the nod. I think it's a Thibodeau kind of thing. And we've seen in the past from him that he doesn't go to quickly in that role. So to me, it makes, I guess we'll learn a lot about Tom Thibodeau here too, how much he's changed his ways, what he's thinking, you know, going to something that's old familiar with Derrick Rose and feeling comfortable there, or giving the reins to quickly, but he doesn't feel comfortable with it because it's not the point guard that he's used to. So I'll go to D Rose. You know, the net point guard is Ben Simmons, and nobody talks about him anymore. He's boring now because he put up 4 points. He had 9 rebounds, 8 assists, played tremendous defense, block shots. He was all over Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell tonight, 15 points, 5 of 16 shooting, 3 of 9 from 3. Simmons guarded him and was just all over him and never let him get any free space. So yes, Derek Garland went off.
Yeah, you could the fourth quarter was all Garland.
Simmons,
he didn't touch the ball.
All over him. So Knick fans that are listening to this that are being like, see, told you Alex shouldn't have made the deal for Donovan Mitchell. Ben Simmons was elite defensively all over him. And shout out to TJ Warren tonight, who had 23 points off the bench for the Nets. He was critical for them. And it just gives this team something they never had before, is another guy that can score, that has size, and his defense is underrated. He was tremendous there. Patty Mills played in the first half. You saw what Coach Jacques Vaughn saw of that. Didn't get run in the second half, even without Joe and Seth. The Nets played big. And man, I'm trying not to let myself, Alex. It's like a weird dynamic because I'm not going all out excitement yet, but it just, from where they were to be this high and to feel this good, like you said about the Knicks 8-game winning streak where you weren't getting giddy. I have some of it to a certain extent the same way, but my Netsness this year is different than it was in the past where, I'm happy. Yes, I'm in a good mood, and I would lie if I wasn't, but I don't feel more like entitlement. It's more like this is a mission to do this. And I can see that there, and there's a belief that's starting to brew with this team. So and I asked this on previous podcasts. I'll ask it again. Your Nets nervous meter of 0, this thing is going to go nowhere. No chance in hell they win a title. Or let's just say even get to the finals, which is interesting too, because the Western Conference is very even. And I would say top heavy in the East. 0, the Nets have no chance, to 10, shit, they might actually do this.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I think it's about a 7 because of who the Nets passed, for me, I think that they are showing that if they keep this up, they're dangerous, but there's no historical data to show that they will. So, why would I think that it's going to happen? It's been so many times. Something's going to happen. There's going to be something off the court or an injury on the court. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but, it's just history, so it's just Kyrie has a lot of history of falling apart in the playoffs, of injury. His body breaks down in the playoffs, so it happens all the time to him. So, and Durant has been injured a lot recently, so we'll see.
No, and I'm not going to sit here and have an argument with you and explain to you why it should be a 10. I just want to read you on it each week because I think last time it was a 6. So I believe it's moved up to a 7.
Well, they won 9 in a row. How can I not raise it a point?
I had to ask. Obviously, with the good and the bad, you have your tweets all the time where you say "let it burn." I think right now you took your hose out, and I think you put the fire out a little bit, and I think you metaphorically did that on this podcast.
True. But can I say why Nets fans are hypocritical? Can I go
please.
there?
I'd love it.
Remember the Giannis play the other day where where he threw Claxton? It was kind of a dirty play. We grabbed him by the shoulder.
You see Claxton put it on Instagram?
He did.
He put it on Instagram and he wrote, "Is this a basketball play?"
Right. So that happened, right? And Nets fans are like, Giannis is tricking you. He's not really this nice guy. He's such a dirty player.
Sure.
And I don't think he's a dirty player. I think that was a dirty play. But like, as a dirty
they have
player,
a history with the Nets.
Yeah,
in the Irving playoffs.
It's fine.
Where he got
how many
hurt
elbows
and
were
he
thrown
landed.
in the 90s back in the day? And you know what I mean? Like it's okay. It doesn't make you dirty. Yeah.
The play in the playoffs where Irving went out and missed the rest of the series where he landed on Irving's ankle is what's triggering. Is what's for a little backdrop. But yeah, go ahead.
No, that's the historical. Fine. I mean, I'm not saying it's like J.R. Reed and fucking elbowing a guy in the teeth, you know, AC Green in the teeth. You YouTube that one if you want to see something funny from the 90s from the Knicks. But anyway, so tonight, Ben Simmons tossed Jarrett Allen to the ground by the arm over his shoulder, did the exact same thing, and the Nets fans were quiet about it.
Did they call the whistle when they were doing that? And
I don't know.
There's no.
I wasn't watching
ball.
at the time. I saw the video online, so I didn't see it live.
Let me say this: it's two parts. This, if they don't call the whistle, I don't blame Ben Simmons for going after the ball. Okay, and there's a little bit of a difference in that play than there is the one with Giannis. Like there's no whistle called, and he's fighting for the basketball. Yeah, I'm glad to see he's aggressive. And the other part of it will be like, oh, Ben Simmons is this, Ben Simmons is that. Then, you know, here's Ben Simmons being aggressive, being tough. No comment about that at all. No comment about that. I will say, though, Jarrett Allen is like the nicest guy in the world.
Right.
To see him upset, you know he got pissed off.
Yeah. He thought it was dirty.
Right.
So
but I see, like, I love it. I personally love it because I like the toughness from it. Yeah. And I like and that, but the point with Giannis,
the hypocrisy is what I'm calling out.
Well, all fans are going to see the ways they want to see it with fans. We'll see the way they want to see it with it. But the history with Giannis and the plays that have been out there, and
they hate him.
They dislike him, and there's an anger to it. And the Bucks, you know, without Chris Middleton, they're a different team. They don't have enough scoring on the outside. If they're not getting enough from Joe Ingles, I could talk Bucks all day. I get you on your point. I didn't think it was enough, and I love Ben Simmons's, and I'm like, I understand.
We got to do a side by side. We got to do a side by side video of that. We need to see him at the same time because to me, it looks exactly the same. Like I don't see the difference.
It was a fight for a jump ball and not in action play, and I will disagree with you on that. Dirtier from Giannis, dirtier. Okay. Simmons just going after it. That's my guy right there. He's my favorite net. I said it.
Yeah. Okay. Until it disappears.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not going to play in a big spot. I get that because you can't have that. And there's a little scare there.
I think it turned the corner for him. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it turned the corner for him when he was in Philly.
Yeah,
and he stood up. Even though Embiid wasn't there, it was big for him mentally to really. Sure.
Yeah, and he's not confidence. He's not. His role here is more push the ball, get up tempo, play defense. Yeah. You know, Ryan Hickey, God bless his soul, who said that Ben Simmons for Kyrie Irving would have been a good trade, was wrong about that. As far as a mix. But he was right about a lot of things, how he fits the triangle of what they have. Durant and Irving, ultimate scorers. Simmons, facilitator, push it. He does fit very well with what they're doing. Now, that doesn't mean that the things that Ben and Net fans have to worry about are going to go away. How does Ben react in the playoffs? How does Ben react with free throws? Those are questions that are unknown, but it's better having those as the questions as opposed to, is he capable of playing basketball and is he scared to be on the basketball court right now? Like he's playing great defense. He's helping them win. He's playing solid offensively. He's taking a couple shots. He's being more aggressive. He's pushing tempo. Those are the things you're like, this works. Big spot, fourth quarter, Nets Celtics, game 6 of whatever. And it's 101-100 with 57 seconds left. You know, is Jacques Vaughn calling for TJ Warren? Probably.
Right. That's always been the problem for him because of that. But you also can go back to that. We talk about it all the time on this podcast. The Nets Raptors, Kawhi hitting that miracle shot to win that series. The Sixers might win the championship. So like with Ben Simmons. So you never know. Things happen in the playoffs. And I think speaking of the playoffs right now, the 3-6 matchup in the Eastern Conference is the Nets versus the Knicks. How about that, Mike?
Would you be into
How
that?
about that?
Who has the home court? That's the RC.
The Nets. Obviously.
Yeah, that would. I mean, I would not be into that at all. I would hate that. I mean, it would just be fucking.
I would be so into it because the Knicks would be all house money for that.
All house money. All house money. Which is, the Nets would be all stress money. Yeah. Every second of it would be torture.
Right. Knicks win one game, win that. I keep talking about this on the podcast too for our loyal listeners that have been listening. Get me to that playoff series. Knicks win game one. I just want to come on this podcast after that. And then you could lose the next four. I just want that fear.
You know what it'd be too. Like the Nets, they've have not lost to the Knicks since we've done this podcast. I've made that noted.
Right. Which that's why the Knicks will sweep them.
And then they would go in and game one would go to the Knicks, and I would just be, it would be tough. It'd be just
kind of like Trae Young versus the Knicks. Regular season, you can't beat the Knicks in the playoffs.
Right. It's a little different with Durant, I think, and he's yes. And Ben Simmons hasn't lost to the Knicks apparently
ever. Yes, the odds are in the Knicks' favor. Yeah,
odds in the favor. It would be all jokes aside. It would be a lot of. It would be fun for us.
Yes,
I mean it would be.
It'd be great for the
show. We
have
to do a show after each game.
Have to.
Only if the Knicks win, no episode. Nets when
we have to because this is why we're here. We're mostly a Knicks and Nets podcast. I mean, we talk all sports, obviously, but this is a Knicks and Nets podcast, and we have to be on it. Everybody's going to be looking for us. This would be big for us.
That would be.
So I'm rooting for it because of to laugh at the Nets and to try to beat them. I mean, getting swept by the Nets, it would suck if that happened. But at the same time, it's like whatever. You guys are the better team. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like the Hawks Knicks where the Knicks were the 4 seed and the
no, you were expecting to. I mean, you were expecting to win that series. I mean, especially after it was 1-1.
Expecting to go 6 or 7 at least. Yeah,
that too. I mean, it was two very even basketball teams. But obviously, what had happened, it happened. What do you think? What would you make of Trae Young if he was traded to the Knicks? Would you be?
We talked about this with Evan Roberts when he was on.
Did we? I don't even remember.
Yeah,
I forget even bringing that up.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No. Not just because he's Trae Young and I can't stand him. I hate his game. Yeah. I hate his game. He's all about crying for fouls, like Harden adjacent. He's that kind of player, and he's. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of his game, and throw in the whole, other part of it, the Knicks Hawks kind of shit.
Of course,
no. There's so many better, and he's short, and you're going to put him next to Brunson, and you were crying, and all Knicks fans were crying about Donovan Mitchell being too short. You couldn't put him next to Brunson, and then you're going to get somebody who's even shorter and can't jump, unlike Mitchell. Thanks, man. No, that's not the direction they should go.
It's just fun. It's just fun to bring up of what that would happen. Right now, the Nets, as you mentioned, this series, if it was Nets 22-12, they're only 2 games back of the Celtics for the best record in the Eastern Conference, while the Knicks at 18-16, they're the 6th seed. But you look at the standings right now: Knicks at 18-16, Hawks 17-16, Pacers 17-16, the Heat 16-17, Raptors 15-18. Bulls
Raptors are coming, man.
They're trying to play. They've been hurt. They've got too much talent. This was a team that was the 4 or 5 seed last year. They've got too much talent to be down there. I think as a Knicks fan, that would scare me, is that the teams behind them have history of playoffs last year. Like I think the Bulls have their dysfunction, so that hurts them. But the Hawks, Pacers, I think have fallen back to earth a little bit. Heat, Raptors, these are teams that were in the playoffs and were staples last year. They're the teams up the Knicks' ass. So the Knicks got to get these wins on the West Coast. They got, or I should say, in Texas, they got to get this to keep the pressure on, because they'll drop, and they'll drop fast.
Yeah, and the Mavericks, the ex-Knicks, like throughout that entire roster, it's going to be fun as always. Yeah, Kemba, I think it might be hurt. He's already hurt, I think, so he might be out he's questionable for the game. And it's going to be a fun matchup because Knicks Mavericks is always fun, like I said, because of the ex-Knicks and the history with the Porzingis stuff. They have Hardaway, Bullock. Who else they have right now? Theo Pinson, your boy, and Kemba, and and Jason Kidd is their coach. It's just there's so many connections, man. It's
you hate Dinwiddie.
And I hate Dinwiddie. Yes,
although that's probably subsided a little.
It's subsided a little bit, especially when he hit that game winner on the Nets last year.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed that. That was fun to record after this. Oh my god, that was a great night.
That was a great episode.
That was a miserable. That was up there in my Mount Rushmore of bad net losses after recording after a bad loss. That was up there. That was pretty frustrating.
Yeah,
you could that was one of those games.
Yeah. That was one of the, I'm laughing now. That was one of those games where when it ended, I just hysterical laughed for like 5 minutes. Like I'm laughing now. I'm still laughing. It was just so funny. It was like poetic justice. It was great.
They should put up one of those memes of banner. Dinwiddie beats the Nets. Knicks title.
Oh my God, those banner memes. Can we talk about the banner memes? If you're a Knicks fan still doing banner memes, and you just grow up. It was created by Nets fans to mock Knicks fans for not having championships. Can we not do banner memes as a joke as a Knicks fan? Like I saw Knicks fans, these accounts like putting up an 8 on a banner. Like, you're making fun of yourself. This is not, the joke's on you and us by doing that.
Yeah, anyway. Man.
God.
Transitioning, we'll talk about football for a smidge.
Oh yeah.
Just real. Or do you want to give me lines? You want, or I want your take on the Jets.
I'm just laughing right now because I didn't realize. So throughout the week, just a little insight to the backside, behind the scenes of my podcast preparation. I have a notes app. I have the notes app. Everybody has it on my phone. Yeah. And I take podcast notes, and I didn't realize I wrote down my pizza order from the other night. Do you want to hear what it was? The pizza order?
Yeah, please. Where was it from?
It was one slice, one bruschetta chicken slice, which is really good, especially slice. One salad slice, so it's like a chicken Caesar salad slice, and then one chicken marsala slice. Amazing.
You're going 3 slices.
Well, it wasn't for me. It was me and Hannah, and then Hannah had my wife had a regular slice on the side. Boring.
Okay, you're going 2 slices. All right. Yeah, I'm just curious. That's fine. 3's good.
Yeah, 2 is good. Okay, so let me get the line.
My notes app is all food. It's all foods and things to remember.
Yeah. Things to remember. It's good. My phone and my computer was synced forever, and it just something happened and stopped syncing it, so it's annoying. So, but anyway,
if you're watching,
so the Jets are falling apart, and they're going to Seattle to play our old friends. I don't know if Jamal Adams is even playing, but our old friend Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, old friend too, and ex-coach in Seattle.
Right.
Jets losing, falling apart. They were 6-3. They're now 7-8. They were also 5-2 at one point. What do you think the line is? Seahawks, I think, have the same record, right?
I mean, it's going to be the Seahawks by default based on that crowd and that. So 4.5.
2.5. You've been
so they like the Jets.
Yeah.
I've been slacking. I'm only up by 2 points, although this is really, educated guess.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Giants. Where are they? Giants had that heartbreaker last week. Long field goal. Where's the game?
Giants, Colts. Where's the game? New Jersey?
They don't have the lines up yet for the Giants.
They probably just don't know yet.
Oh, no, because the Colts are playing right now. They're playing the Chargers
that makes
right
sense.
now.
Yeah,
so they don't have it up yet.
All right, no problem.
So let's guess it anyway. What do you think it's going to be?
Giants by 4.5.
You're right. Good job. You did it.
Nailed it. Got it again. All right. Well, this has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 150. Go back if you missed it. We've got some great interviews. Meta World Peace. He had some really interesting things to say about New York basketball, his take on Julius Randle, and of course, Kobe, LeBron, and Michael Jordan, who we played against or with. All 3 of those, really interesting insight from him. Other great interviews include Richard Jefferson, Gary Kittles, Chris Childs, Tracy McGrady, some other solid ones there. If I'm not mentioning you, please just go back, check those out. This is the Knicks podcast, but the heart of it, of course, is about New York basketball. You can find us on Apple and Spotify. Go ahead and give a 5-star rating, leave a comment. Get used to if you're watching this on YouTube, where my cat now is obsessed with coming in my face. That sounded terrible. My cat now is obsessed with coming into the photograph.
Let's end the podcast.
This has been Alex. I will talk to you later.
We name the podcast that?
I mean, I don't know. That might be good for search engines, but I don't know.
Not the ones we're looking for.
I don't know if people are going to see that and go, "That's not what I was looking for" when I type that in. And if you type that in, you need help. Probably
for a podcast too.
Wow. Bad Weather Fans, episode 150. If you made it to the end of this podcast, tweet me at Mike Delivers Pod or at Nick Central. That line, you get bonus points. This has been Bad Weather Fans. Alex, goodbye.
Peace.